Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Tuesday, August the 8th, 7 a.m. New York time. Good morning to everyone here in the States. Good afternoon to everyone over on the other side of the pond. And good evening to everyone on the other side of the world. Glad you're here. We're back. $10K to $2 million funding challenge, officially sponsored by Bespoke Funding Program. Use code Venator to get 15% off and 85% profit split. But if you want an even better deal, they have a 20% discount code running on their site. And you can use the link in my bio on my YouTube page, and you can take advantage of that slightly better discount. Or you can use the Venator one. Either one is fine. Hope you guys had a good day yesterday. Got my daughter moved in to her new place. Man, I was beat when we got home last night. I hate moving, man. One of my sons came and helped and got all of her stuff in, and her roommates all settled and everything. So it was a good day. But I was glad to be home. We got home not too late, but I basically just went straight to bed, and then woke up this morning actually before the alarm went off. I kind of like that, but I don't mind waking up before my alarm goes off. If it's like 10 minutes before my alarm goes off, like it did this morning, not a big deal. It's fine. It's when it wakes me up like 30 or 45 minutes before my alarm goes off. God, that ticks me off, man. I do not like that. But it's fine. We're here. I'm feeling pretty good today. Markets have reversed off of yesterday's high, but we're still inside of Friday's range. We have taken out the low here on the euro dollar. We've taken out yesterday's low. Be interested to see how it responds. If you look at the weekly time frame here, be interesting to see how it responds when it comes back down into this daily fair value gap. Is last week's low in danger? Don't know. We'll just have to kind of wait and see, quite honestly. But inside day yesterday, we couldn't take out yesterday's high, and we've just basically fallen all night long. There's no news out. No news to yesterday, no news today, and no news tomorrow. Thursday and Friday, we've got some CPI inflation numbers coming out. So that will definitely be something going on there. I'm just wondering how we respond to this daily fair value gap right here. Again, as we approach it from the top side here. Similar to GBP, still inside of yesterday was an inside day. We could not take out Friday's high. As today's candle opened, we could not take out yesterday's high or Friday's high, and we've since dropped. We have not taken out yesterday's low yet on GBP. So we're just kind of watching that as well. So we'll see. We'll see as price reaches down into there if it wants to take Monday's low and then maybe pull back or what. We'll just kind of watch. The dollar is trying to take out Friday's high. It's about to. And the euro still has a little bit of work to do there to do the same thing. Man, I feel like I got a sneeze coming on. So anyway, we get back over here. Like we were saying, dollar, DXY, could not take out Friday's high or low inside day. We just opened and we've only climbed. What is the open here? 067. It did drop by like a pip, 1 pip after the open, and then it just went straight up. So dollar's climbing, dollar's finding strength. We'll see as it reacts here to its fair value gap, its daily fair value gap. How it has reacted as resistance 3 times. We'll see what happens today. You have some relative equal highs, a little bit higher up there. And of course, this daily order block. These 3 candles together constitute the daily order block here on the DXY. So price has reached up into that twice inside that fair value gap and held off. So we'll see if it wants to continue. If it displaces above this high, this just sets up a huge breaker. You've got all this consolidation. It runs quickly into sell side. If it displaces above this high and closes strong above it, you're just setting up a daily breaker. This is, just imagine this is a 15-minute time frame. Pop down, grab liquidity, pop up, break above there. There's your entry to target to go long to aim for this buy side liquidity up here. So that could be where we're headed. I mean, long term overall, we're still bearish. We've had this huge run up. We've started to come back down, and now we're making lower lows and lower highs. So could be that we could see a little bit of a weaker dollar. It is August as well, so you have to take that into account. And we could just sit back inside this range for a little bit. Now that we've traded back up into it, we traded out of it, couldn't stay down. We've moved back up into this range. You could anticipate just some bouncing around inside of here. So try to capitalize on some of those lower time frame moves when that becomes the possibility. See if I see anything else here. I don't think I do. One hour. Definitely in a bullish uptrend since London. So, excuse me, very often that is, New York is, when you have a big London move like that, New York will either continue that run or consolidate very often. So, just looking here, GBP. Try and take out yesterday's low. Friday's low. No, that's Thursday. Friday's low's over here. Last week's low's down here. All right. Euro dollar still falling here. Take out buy side, quick stab up, broke through. Technically, there is a 1 hour breaker up in here. These 2 candles initiated this run up, left behind a little fair value gap. It hasn't gotten back up into there yet. On the 30-minute time frame, you can look over here and see we ran buy side, ran it again, and then displaced through. So you could look into this area here for a potential return That would be in line with some OTE areas. There's not a really clean fair value gap there. Small one here on the 15. You got that one right there. Not the best position I like to see it in. You could look at something like this. I feel like it's going to come down here and take out this liquidity before it gives you that return. We'll see. That's just my first initial take on EU and GU here. So, oh, where did I gotta, let me grab my phone. Hold on, be right back. I'll get over to the chat in just a minute, guys, and I'll scroll back up there. All right, there's EU and GU. Let's jump over to GJ. We have seen, sorry about that. Been in a big uptrend. We've broken through, grabbed some sell side. We've failed to displace back above these highs. Closed up, closed back in. We've come back up. We're rejecting down off of that. And here on the 1 hour, whoops, sorry. Here on the 1 hour, we have grabbed buy side liquidity and now we're displacing back below. So currently, this 1 hour candle right there would be your 1 hour breaker. And let's see what we see when we drop down under here. Those two 15-minute candles right there are on, oh, that's a 30-minute, sorry. I would probably use this big one right here as my entire breaker. This down move, I know it paused right here, but this is where this swing started right here. Push down, big push up, and now we're displacing back through. So we'll watch this on GJ as well. We'll have to wait and see how the next 15-minute candle, if it can leave behind a decent fair value gap in here. EJ, very similar. You've got your 1 hour breaker right there. These are both basically mimicking each other here. And I would say there is your breaker. Obviously, large displacement coming down through here. So this candle is about to close. We'll see if the next candle can leave us a decent fair value gap on those two. EJ is the chat pair of the week. So we'll be watching it along with GJ. GJ and EJ. US 30 is falling with the dollar rising. Typically, the indexes move in the opposite direction, which is what you're seeing here. You did see right around 4 o'clock a nice little grab of buy side, and then we've displaced through. But much like US 30 does, it just looks very much like gold recently, where you just get these massive swings with really no opportunity to participate. So far this morning, it's retracing all of yesterday's big move up. Also failed to take out Friday's high. S&P failed to take out Friday's high. NAS failed to take out Friday's high. NAS did take out Friday's low before that move yesterday, and S&P left it in place, and US 30 also left it in place. So that's a little interesting to me, is that you have two index pairs reached or did not reach under Friday's low, and one did. So this could just be a nice little healthy retracement here. We'll keep our eyes on it, but so far euro dollar could have a potential little 1 hour higher time frame breaker set up here that would get you a pullback from the London move, and then you could see continued displacement lower. So we'll need to watch that. GBP, until we get some displacement below here, we're not getting the same setup. But GJ and EJ both presenting a nice potential sell opportunity, have a lot of liquidity up underneath these lows. So you might be able to get a nice little, if this 15-minute candle here on EJ and GJ could give you leave behind a nice little fair value gap in here, we might have a potential setup there today. We'll see. It's about damn time if we get one. Hell, even if it's a loss, I don't give a crap. All right, let me get over here to the chat and say good morning to some people. John, welcome in, buddy. First in the chat today, at least the ones that I see. Mr. Alfie, hey, Muhammad, good morning. Daz, new dashboard tomorrow for Bespoke. Yes, I heard that was coming, and I'm excited to see it get rolled out. Adrian, good morning. H8, Cisco, Red Ezekiel. Cisco dropped a like already, so now you have to make it a good one. That's how it works, right? I guess. Michael, good morning. Welcome in, buddy. Red Ezekiel, can I marry your daughter? Make her my wife. I want her to be the only girl that I love for the rest of my life and give her the best of me till the day that I die. I might have to ban you. You don't even know her. And if you did, I'm not sure you would still feel all of those things and make all those promises. Good morning, David Dreams. Michael says, caught an EU long trade late kill zone yesterday. There was a pretty decent setup. I identified a couple of things that I would look for on a 1 hour breaker. It did get triggered in. I was watching it. I just couldn't do anything. I was moving. Someone actually sent me, I can't remember who it was, sent me a screenshot of taking a EU trade based off that analysis. You could, I don't think it ended up clearing the buy side liquidity, but it was it was a good setup. It probably, for sure, you could have gotten to break even on it. But hey, Corey, welcome in. Muhammad, EU might have breaker on 1 hour. Yes, definitely does. We have identified that. Biolomansky, good afternoon from Nigeria. Glad you're here. Mr. Alfie, just noticed you have a different hat on. Was the last one? I haven't had a good luck hat for a while, and so I've just been trading them out until I get one that works. This is just one of the Houston Astros hats. In H-Town, gotta represent the town, man. Subon, what is your today's bias for EU? Just went over that. I'm sorry, I missed a lot of this. What was yesterday's pair chat pair was EJ. Trading Night, what's up? George Tucker, good afternoon. Muhammad, what do you think capitalizing 1 hour breaker in EU and the big fair value gap? We'll see. But I think this is our best opportunity to get a setup on EU right now. So we'll just watch and wait. But this candle here is definitely going to leave behind a fair value gap in less than the next 30 minutes. It just rallies pretty hard. GU leaving behind relative equal lows down here. Definitely feel like that's going to get run. and leaving behind a nice little fair value gap for it to tap into. Not sure why there's such a big amount of weakness here on EU and GU right now, but dollar's definitely super strong today. Did not take out Friday's high yet. So interesting there. GJ, of course, pulling back up into its range, or its breaker. We would want to see it leave behind. I mean, it's going to have to get all the way back up there to close in this fair value gap. So it's probably going to leave some kind of fair value gap here. It just depends on exactly where it leaves it that we'll need to. We'll see which one gives us a better stop loss and a better risk reward, but we could be getting a setup there on a couple different pairs already. Greg, was the last time that trade was taken? It was 2.5 weeks ago. Too long, Greg. Too long. Kai, good morning. Sam, good morning. Suryadev, good morning. Michael, it didn't clear the liquidity, but exactly 2R at the top of that 2 p.m. 15-minute candle. So nice trade. Awesome. Good to hear it. Michael, how's your account going? Red Ezekiel, it was Bruno Mars' song, Marry Your Daughter. Oh, I didn't recognize the lyrics. I was like, man, you're really going after it hard. Now that you say yes, I know the song, and now I can hear it in my head. I might still ban you. Coming after my daughter on my live stream. I guess today EU will make the low of the week, and on Thursday CPI data will mark the high of the week. Potentially, I mean that's not a bad. It's not a bad understanding of how the open high low close works. So we'll see how that plays out. Typical ICT buy model week might be in play. Yeah. Alpha Bridge, hey, welcome. Matthew, good morning. Took a winning trade on GU short this morning, up about 1.7% of my challenge. That's awesome, Matthew. Glad to hear it. 10K account winner with 1.7% profit rolling in. That's awesome. I see Michael D. Where's Michael D at? Is he in here? Not Michael Dahl. Two different guys. Like to see how his challenge is going too. There he is. Please don't ban him. I won't ban him. It's gonna take something more than a joke. I can take a joke. Michael D. Still no trades, just stalking the market. Not a bad position to be in. Not a bad position to be in, sir. I was thinking about alternate names for the stream because it's no longer a $10K to $2 million funding challenge. It's when is Venator going to take a trade again? That's the stream. Because we've just pushed pause on doing anything else with these stupid accounts right now. It's not... The crazy thing is that we're like, I don't know. What is it? We're 2 people away from 800 subs. 2 people. And that's all within 2.5 weeks of doing absolutely crap on the stream. So I think if I could actually start taking trades and maybe pulling in a couple winners, the stream would do even better. Because if we can get to 800 subs with this pitiful excuse for a live stream, trading live stream, just think what would happen if we could actually take a trade. That might be kind of cool. I kind of like I like both of these setups on GJ and EJ. They're looking really nice. So that's kind of nice looking. I kind of dig them. Not sure which one. I think I like GJ better. Michael Dahl says about 1% drawdown now, risking a 0.25% per trade, coming back from almost 2%. That's good, man. Way to go. Get to 2% profits, then bump the risk up to 0.5% because I would consider that consistency. I think it's a great strategy. You know, I'm not a fan of changing risk parameters based on profit and loss, but it is a proven valid system to minimize your drawdown. So man, I'm glad it's working. Way to pull yourself out of it and trust your trading plan. You guys smash the like button. Come on. There are 30 people in here right now. That's awesome. We are starting to kind of take a little bit of a dip on the average amount of viewers, unless we're doing giveaways, which we will do another giveaway this week. Probably Friday again, I'm guessing. We'll do another 10K account giveaway on Friday. If you guys haven't taken advantage of that discount code, I would appreciate it. I know a couple people have messaged me saying they've used it. But even if you don't want to use that, if you want to use the one that that Bespoke's running in their Discord, I think you get 20% off. You still get the 85% lifetime split, but I think you also get a bigger refund on your challenge fee. But you can use the affiliate link I have on the YouTube page, and you can still, that way it still gets registered to Venator and our partnership, but you still get the better discount. So either one of those, hope you guys will use it. Trading night, it would be awesome if you could make someday a London session live stream. I need to do that, and I keep saying I'm going to, but then it gets late at night and I'm like, oh, that means I got to get up in the middle of the night to do this. And then I'm just like, I think I'm just going to sleep. So I see the appeal of the London live stream. I know a lot of the viewers are not from the States. And so a London live stream would actually be good. Maybe even get more viewers than we get on the New York stream. So we need to try it. I need to test it. It just depends on, I need to look at my schedule and be like, hey, what's the day after I do the London live stream that I am fine with being completely tired and useless for the rest of the day? Because if I get up at 1 a.m., that's 1 a.m., 2 a.m. my time to do a live stream, and then I stream all of London and then maybe stick around and do a New York session or at least a little bit of it. That's a long stream, and I promise you that next day I would be just wiped. So maybe a Friday, maybe a London session, Friday London session maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I need to do one. I keep saying I will, and I haven't done it yet, so it's on me. Dollar really trying to take out Friday's high, pushing for it, and Euro is lagging a little bit behind here to take out Friday's low. It looks like that's where it's going to drop, though. We got about another minute here, and well, actually less than a minute, and we can look at one of these setups on EJ or GJ. If we go with EJ, you're looking at, I think you would have to do this and this. If you're looking, so that gives you 26.5 pip stop, and then your 2.1 GJ would be, I think right about there somewhere. You get a 20, let's just say 24 pip stop. and 2-1. I don't know. I kind of like GJ there. But EJ looks, they both look really good. They both look really good. I mean, we could call them both technically and then just cancel the one that doesn't get triggered. But I really like both of those setups. They look very clean. Almost too obvious. Almost too obvious. Kind of like GJ, I think. I'm going to set this up on GJ. Remember to save up giveaways for the Friday marathon if you want. Oh, yeah. We may still do that. I do like the idea of giving them away once a week. It's kind of fun, but that's true, Daz. They do only want to see winning trades. Yeah, London was killer for this strategy for about 6 weeks, and then it really has not been great. Where is GJ? There it is. Let me get this set up over here. Get some long. Oh, don't want that. I think I would go right there and there. There we go. I like it at. I like that. Let's set a sell limit right there. Hello. There it goes. All right, let me get this plugged in. 82. So our entry is going to be here. Our stop loss will be here, and our TP will be right there. Cool. Let me, there you go. So we got an entry at 182.020. We have a TP of 181.507 and a stop loss. I moved my mic. Sorry. Stop loss at 182.261. I'm going to copy that out. Man, first hour in, and we've already got a setup called. I mean, my gut says it's just going to run because that's what everything does. The market's broke. GBP, JPY, sell limit. Entry is 182.020. Stop loss is 182.261. And our TP would be 181.507. There we go. There we go. Daz, I got your pictures. I'll look at them here in a second. Maybe we'll pull them up and let everybody look at it. EJ also has a good setup. EU still just running. Did the dollar has taken out Friday's high. EU is trying to, but has yet to take out dollars. I mean, it's Friday low. I mean, you got beautiful, nice relative equal lows down here, so we'll see how that plays out. reaching into this daily fair value gap again, like we said earlier. All right, I just think this is a really nice looking setup here. So hopefully the market, see how the market would drop and then retrace and then drop and then retrace and then drop. We just need it to retrace. That's all we need. We just need it to retrace. That's it. I like this setup a little bit better than EJ, mostly because it also lines up with this bearish order block right here, with a fair value gap inside this 15-minute bearish order block, 30-minute bearish order block right here. So it's a breaker, it's an order block, it's a fair value gap, it's an OTE. It will be an OTE when it comes back. It'll be back up into a premium of this leg down. There's a lot of reasons I like the GJ trade here. There's quite a bit of confluence. We've had a run of liquidity. Obviously, a very steep grab of run of liquidity of multiple different targets here. And now we've had displacement in the opposite direction. Once you get that displacement, you identify where did that run on liquidity begin. Here's your breaker. It lines up with a fair value gap. We try to target somewhere about the middle of that breaker block, which would be right at also the bottom of this bearish order block here as well. So a lot of confluence here. We just need the market to do what it's supposed to do. And I know when I talk like that, I sound like it's everything I say that the market doesn't have to do anything. The market doesn't need or supposed to do anything. This is just historically, when you look at how the market moves, this is very often what it does is it gives you impulse legs and retracements, impulse legs and retracements. So if it just runs away from us again, then we know that I have completely angered the market gods somehow. And they are completely against me ever having another trade taken, at least while I'm on the live stream. So, but it's a good setup. Galaxy, sorry, I'm catching back up over here in the tab. I'm going to scroll back up. I don't want to miss anything. You should do some short videos on mindset and your perspective, and also what you have learned on your journey. Yeah, I think that's a part of. I've made a list of some things to do, and to make some potential videos on, and that is one of them. One of the ideas. Remember to say. Oh yeah, we already said that. Oh yeah, London being doo-doo from Michael. GU made an order block for a potential breaker before taking out yesterday's low. Yes, GU does have a nice little setup here on the 1 hour, and let's look here. 30-minute. Be right in here. I think the 1 hour gives you the cleanest setup on the GU. You take those two candles, and then we can drop down and see what we see. You've got the 15-minute there. I mean, the 30-minute there. You've got 15, the 10, potentially, let's see, what would I use here? If you're looking over here, and you could say it gave you a quick pop up and a quick pop down, you'd have to use all of that. I would probably just stick with what's over here. But you could still potentially target something like that. Maybe. It just like, we're just going to need to see price give some kind of pullback here. We need price to retrace. It's taken out Friday's high here pretty strongly on the dollar now. Euro still hasn't taken out Friday's low. When you see these big, huge legs, and you're just like, man, why can't we get some of some little pullbacks? Just a few little pullbacks. Why does it just run away? EU. That's a pretty deep dive here on EU, and I would think dollar's just ripping. It now has the weekly high and last week's high in its sights. We've taken out Friday's. You could see a little turn here now that you've taken out Friday's high, a little bit of a rollover here on the dollar to rebalance some of this aggressive move, which is what we would need to see for any of these play out. I still like the GJ play better than the GU trade, but both mostly just because we don't have all of the other fair value gaps that we have above up here for it to want to try to rebalance. That's the main thing about the GU trade I'm not a big fan of, is all of the larger imbalances above here. I typically like to put my stop above the highest fair value gap. That just means you just need a lot. The trade has to do a lot more work. And if you used the 1 hour to frame this setup, that would make more sense, but then I would want to see a deeper pull like up into here. So that might actually be not a bad idea, not a bad way to think about that. That could be a decent setup on the hourly. I think I would have to keep my stop up there because I just don't like all of this imbalance here. It could easily just run back up in there, and my stop wouldn't feel safe on that lower breaker, that 15-minute breaker in here. I think this is how I would have to play it out. I prefer looking for longs, says Michael. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea to look for longs, but the nice thing about GU is that it still has this Friday low as a draw on liquidity. EU has left its low in place. DX has grabbed it. GU not quite pulling back here. GJ giving us a little bit of a rejection, which is nice to see off of these fair value gaps. Now we can come back up and retest this fair value gap here and this breaker and this order block, all of that together. So Maybe we'll get some kind of little something going on here. EU and GU dropping hard. Yeah, I don't. It's so weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's just the market. The market's just moving, creating and engineering liquidity. Again and again. It's all it does. Have you traded on your other funded account? Yes, I have. Muhammad, you should give a graduation certificate if anyone from this stream gets funded. Oh, that's not a bad idea. I may have to play with that. I like that idea. Matthew, hope well done. Won your challenge, bro. Hope to see you around again on BFP Poker Tournament. Oh, yeah, you guys won that poker challenge. I forgot. Michael, yeah, I meant the 15-minute up candles. This kill zone we are in now are potential breakers. They form particular issues. Correct. Yes, they because Euro. I mean, yeah, we could see some breakers up here. You'd have to get a pretty large amount of displacement now after grabbing this. After grabbing all this sell side, so we'll have to. It's just kind of a watch and wait. It's just it really is just kind of a watch and wait kind of moment here. So. Muhammad GJ might be our best bet. I do still like the GJ setup. I mean, it's pretty textbook for my breaker. I mean, run on liquidity, displacement away, fair value gap. It lines up with an OTE. It lines up with the breaker. It lines up with the order block. All of the above. Several confluences here. It doesn't mean it will work. It could get triggered in and just blow right through it. This does not mean it will work. It just means that this is the setup right here. I don't have to think about it. It's jumping off the charts at me that this is the trade I should take. So you have a run of buy side liquidity. And not just there, you have all this buy side liquidity as well. It runs multiple key swing levels, and then after it does, it just displaces away. We identify that breaker, we identify where it started, the order block, the OTE. Again, just a lot of good confluences here. So I'm happy with this setup. I'm happy. If it gets triggered in, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And if it gets triggered in and loses, we take another loss. It's just what it is. I'm just taking the setups that I see, and this is a good looking setup. So EJ, also a good setup. But I'm going to stick with the GJ one here and see how it plays out. Starting to get a little pullback here. As this hourly candle closes, potentially, if it can close somewhere around where it is, that's awesome. And then the next hour opens, gives us that wick up into this order block here. And then potential further droppage down into these areas. I like the TP. I like, yeah, it just all looks really good. Just all looks really good. Summer has the worst priced action. It's not great. It has not been great. You are correct. Yen pairs, I'm not sure that are bearish. Yeah, they're not super bearish, but here's where we're at. We've been in this big bullish up move. We've grabbed sell side liquidity. since we've grabbed sell side liquidity, we have failed to displace above. We did get a close above, but we immediately closed back inside that range. And since that time, we have not been able to show any real move back up higher. So we can see today opened, put in a high, and after it grabbed that liquidity, it has just fallen off. So now your attention turns to these lows down here. This is where your attention turns for GJ right now. And I don't need it to come all the way down here, obviously, for my TP. Even just if it left some of this buy side imbalance in place, you can see I just needed to come back down and retest this order block here, rebalance that. I can still get a TP out of that. So all good. Bespoke does give certificates, yes. I think all the prop firms give certificates. What's up, Ghost? Do you still have your 10K challenge, man? I haven't seen you in here. What's the update on the 10K challenge that you won? Good news? Bad news? No news? Emmanuel, let's go. Hooligan, I realized today Bespoke scaling is 40%. The goal could be reaching 1.1 million and funded. Then through scaling, just need an 8% increase in 4 months. They do have a scaling plan, and you can get up to $2 million in capital. You have to make 8% profit over, I think, 4 months. And as long as 3 out of those 4 months are profitable, then you can get an additional 40% of your account. Now, you don't have to wait for scaling. You can just go buy their maximum allocated capital right off the bat. But if you want to start and just, not worry about adding and stacking accounts, then that's definitely a viable option. Michael says you're funded with 2 million. They won't scale beyond the 2 million. Correct. Yeah. 2 million is the max you can get. So you can either purchase it and just go right for it, or you can start with that 50K, 100K, whatever, and then just keep rolling it. But I mean, to me, it just makes more sense. Why wait for the scaling when you can just, if you're profitable on a 100K account and you make 8%, you've made enough to buy the rest of the accounts you need to get to max funding. So EU still has not taken out its low. It does look like it wants to try to come down there. Our GJ trade might be getting triggered in before the top of the hour here. We'll see. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I haven't taken a trade in like 2.5 weeks. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. I used to feel like that all the time. When I would see price coming back up to an entry, I'd be like, oh. But no, not anymore. I would be lying to tell you that if I told you that I would be upset if this doesn't get triggered in. There's a part of me that wants to take a stupid trade. I don't like waiting this long. No one likes to sit around and wait to take a trade. We're traders. We want to take a trade, but we have to take the best setups. And we've called a few out. We've gotten swerved a couple times. It is what it is. The market doesn't know I exist at all. This trade is not in a live market. The market doesn't know where my entry is. It doesn't know where my stop loss is. It's just moving from liquidity to liquidity. That's all it's doing. And we're just trying to catch a wave. Can you break down the trade you are taking? Asked Peter. Sure. So this is the breaker setup. This is what we trade here on the live stream. We want to see liquidity being grabbed and then displacing away. And so what we've seen here is we've seen these old highs get engineered. We see liquidity get run, a quick stab up. It takes out this buy side liquidity. It takes out this old swing high, which is also buy side liquidity. And then after taking out that buy side liquidity, we see displacement away in the opposite direction. And you can see it a lot clearer on these higher time frames. Takes out this high, takes out this high, displaces away. Once it displaces away and breaks structure, then we look and identify, where did the run on liquidity begin? It began at this swing level. So in here, we identify the last 3 down closed candles before, or just the last down closed candle. In this case, these 3 together institute that last down closed candle. So these candles initiated, this push down was so that we could run price higher. Once we ran price higher and displaced, once we break through that level, that becomes a breaker block. It is a failed order block. This breaker block, when it gets displaced through, we want to see a fair value gap created inside of that breaker. And we have a very clear fair value gap. The low of this candle to the high of this candle inside of here is inefficient price delivery. So we set our order about halfway in between the breaker and the fair value gap entry. We put our stop above the candle that created the fair value gap, and we go for a just over 1-to-2 risk reward ratio so we can cover the cost of the trade and get a true 2RR. That is how we break down this trade. There you go. Suryadev, in the 1 hour candle on the GJ remains as a wick down. Wouldn't that be a liquidity grab on the 1 hour? So will the 15-minute breaker block hold? I don't know. I don't know. I can't see the future, unfortunately. This is the setup I trade, and this is the way I'll go. You can always find a reason not to take a trade. You can look at the chart and analyze 15 different time frames, and if you wait for 15 different time frames to align, you're never going to take a trade. So when you see your setup, you execute it. This is the setup. This is the trade. Maybe I should have taken EJ, because EJ looks like it's wanting to cooperate a little bit more. Dollar pushing up hard. So as this next hourly candle opens on GJ, we'll want it to open, put in a high. Whew. I was hoping it would close up a little bit higher than where it is right now, but could put in a high and then come back down. And it may take a couple hours. The next hour could leave in a fair value gap here, and then it pops into that fair value gap at the 9 o'clock hour, or a 10 o'clock hour. Sorry. We'll see. We'll see. That EJ trade looking pretty nice too, though. All right, new hourly candle's about to open here. We'll see what kind of reaction we get. We've put in a swing low here on GJ. So hopefully we can get one more little push up into there. Daz says, I've been looking at setting the entry at the closest side of the fair value gap. It adds the stop loss in most cases, but you don't get swerved. Yeah, I mean, I've tested that, and you definitely will get more entries, but you also now have a larger stop, like you said, which means you're going to have a larger TP to get your 1 to 2. And so I like to get my entry. I like to get my price. I want to know that in general, you will get more entries right at the bottom of that breaker. Just like that, you might have gotten triggered in right there on that breaker right there. And it doesn't have to come back up into that fair value gap. But that's just, I have thought about it, have tested it, and I just prefer this method. How do you calculate pips on yen pairs? Ooh, that's a great question. I use a trade calculator that does it for me. Let me see if I can remember the formula or find the formula. So every other pair has 4 decimals. The yen pairs are quoted with 2 or 3 decimals. The value of a pip is 1/100 divided by the exchange rate. For example, if euro yen is quoted at 132.62, 1 pip is 1/100 divided by 132.62. How do you count pips? So the pip is the second decimal point. So 182.02, and the pipette is the 0. To calculate the pip value for one standard lot size, you need to divide 1,000 by the USD JPY current rate. So if you're trading UJ, for example, if the current rate for UJ is 107.219, then the pip count for one standard lot is equal to 1,000 divided by the exchange rate, which comes out to $9.33 per standard lot for UJ. So it would be similar for GJ, I guess. But it's the pips are the second decimal. Oh, you're kidding me. If this thing just drops. I mean, what have I done to anger the trading gods so much? What sacrifice do I need to make to cleanse my soul and get back into the good graces? I don't understand. Why does it hate me? Oh, well. Have you ever had a trade that hits your 1 to 2 RR but doesn't hit your TP because you had TP lower to cover spread commissions in the trade? I'm sure I have, Matthew, but it would just be a break-even trade at that point. If it gets that far, it's already at break-even. I can't remember. I mean, there's not one that I immediately recall. It hasn't happened recently if it's happened. So it's been a while, but I'm sure it probably has. Yeah, that's right, Michael. The worst it would be is a break even. Someone on Twitter flipping 100 to 1 million. Is it possible? I mean, all things are possible. Is it likely? No. I know what you're talking about. But it's a guy who owns his own brokerage, owns his own firm, and I could be totally wrong, but I don't think he's calling out his trades before he takes them. Maybe he is. I don't know. If he's calling out those trades before he takes them and can flip it, every single trade, and there's a documented paper trail of I'm going to take this trade before he gets into the trade, then cool, that'd be awesome to see. But if he's not calling every trade out before his entry, then it's sus. And there is, an immense amount of luck involved in that. You got to flip that account so many times. It's just, you've got to way over leverage. You're obviously not using very wise risk management. You're going to have to take a lot of gambles. I mean, I'm sure it can be done. I don't think I don't think it's likely. And again, if he's not showing you and calling it out in some kind of public form before he enters the trade, before price gets to his entry, then I don't believe it. So either stream it live and let us see it live. If you maybe he just does market orders because he's a discretionary trader or whatever, that's fine. Do it live. Let's see it. Let's see you actually do that. But if you're just posting screenshots of winning positions after the fact, and then you can Photoshop or manipulate your MT4 server to show that you took a trade or to show what your account balance is, sus. Ghost says, no news, always at minus 2%. I'm waiting like you. Yeah, man, it's... God, the waiting sucks, doesn't it? You spend so much time watching the charts and you spend so much time being patient and you can still take a loss. That's probably one of the most frustrating parts about being a trader, is that you don't get paid for doing a good job. Like, you can do a good job like we're doing right now. We're being patient, we're hunting, we're waiting for our setups, we're executing when we see them, but we haven't gotten paid because price did not get us in. Then the other side is we could be patient, like this setup right here. We could get triggered in and our stop loss could just get obliterated. And again, we did the right thing. We waited for price to show us the setup that we were wanting to see. It gave it to us. And then we could still not get paid. So you can do the right thing. You can consistently make the right decision and execute your plan and still not get paid. So very unlike any other business venture in the world where you work hard, you do the right thing, you get paid. In trading, it does not work like that. And so here we are with the frustration of waiting, and we convince ourselves, if I just wait long enough, my setup's going to come and then I'm going to get a winner. You don't know if you're going to get a winner. You have no idea. None of us do. These setups have an edge in the market, and over the next hundreds of trades that we use this setup on, we know the probabilities and statistics show us that it is profitable, but that doesn't mean this trade will be profitable. And like I said, it's just so hard to sit and wait. And then you get your shot and you take it and you miss. And then you immediately think, how long am I going to have to wait for another one? I'm tired of this. I'm not going to wait again. Just going to take it. So Kind of sucks. He does not come across as authentic. Yeah, he's been around a while and has a history of, selling the lifestyle idea behind it, flashing the watches and the supercars and the mansions. So if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, and it flies like a duck, it's probably a duck. I know a better story. Someone failed a challenge in about 30 minutes. Is it possible? Yes, 100%. I have failed a challenge and within 10 minutes bought another challenge, got the credentials, got back into the same trade that I just lost the challenge on, just to lose the new challenge again. I've done that. It's embarrassing to admit I've done it. But I'm never going back. I'm never going back. I'm not doing it. It's not happening. It was not my finest moment. Every scar has a story, and man, I've got some trading scars, don't we all? Amen. We've all got some trading scars in our past, things we are not proud of, decisions we've made that are not great decisions. Man, I really kind of wish I had called the EJ trade now. How do you restrict yourself from going back? Everyone's been there at some point. Yeah, we all have horror stories. How do I restrict myself from going back? I mean, you just reach that point where you get so tired of your failure. And you realize that if you don't change some things, then things will never change. And it was just a personal decision. It was not right after that, sadly. It was not right after that moment. I still failed more challenges after that. I still did stupid stuff after that. But I did enough stupid stuff that eventually I really got tired of smashing my head against the wall, realizing that I was not going to break the wall down by beating my head against it. And then I just decided, I don't know, there wasn't like a specific minute, there wasn't a specific day that I can recall that it turned around, but there was a season where I was just like, I'm going to stop doing this. This isn't working. I'm just going to do the opposite of what my brain is telling me to do right now. Because I was trading completely off of emotions. I had a strategy. I had multiple strategies, but I could never execute any of them to perfection. I understood the ideas, like for this setup right here, right? I would used to be like, oh, well, this is going to be a breaker. I don't need it to displace and pull back. I can just get in right here before the breaker's even formed because it's going to be a breaker. That's what I would tell myself. And then I would take a trade and then price would come down and I'd start to be in profit and I'd be like, oh, yeah. It's working. And then price would start to reverse and then I would immediately close the account or close the trade, either a break even, or I'd be like, oh, no, it's still going to be a breaker. And then it would reverse here, put in a lower high and just take off. So, I mean, I would just do all of the stupid things that traders do. I did them all. Every single one. I'd move my stop loss after I had it set. I would, as soon as price would get just a little bit in profit, I would close the trade out because I was so scared that I wouldn't make any money on that day. I would just randomly enter a trade with no reason at all because I saw price, a big candle printing, and I was like, well, it's just going to keep going down. And so I would just get in with no strategy or plan whatsoever. I would trade without a stop loss. I did all of these stupid things that we all do as traders every single time, and I've done them all. But you just reach that point where you're like, I'm going to start doing and acting the way professional traders act. They have one or two simple strategies. They are patient. They wait. This is how they get payouts. I'm going to start doing that. I want to get payouts. I'm tired of losing. I want to get payouts. How are these guys getting payouts? So once you learn how they get payouts, once you learn how they consistently make profits, you just replicate what they're doing. And then after you've done it for a little while and you start to see some success with it, that's when things just become, a lot easier to, you start realizing, oh, now I get it. I was the problem. John says, these people that do that on YouTube remind me of historical time period in the U.S. known as spiritualism. If you've seen The Prestige or The Illusionist, yeah, absolutely. They're just, kind of charlatans. They're showmen, and they don't really. They know how to smoke and mirror you into giving them more money. Red says, I've done that too. Bought a challenge and got back into the same trade that was 2 months ago. But today I'm happy that I'm in a challenge for 3 weeks. One challenge for 3 weeks, man. That's a big step. Most people are definitely out of their challenges after just a few days or a week. I think most people blow their challenges within 10 trading days, typically. I think that's the last stats I've seen about how fast most people take to blow a challenge. It's under 2 weeks. That's on average. I'm still looking for the day for it to turn around. We all are, man. We all are. Daz, it's never the strategy, it's always you. When you start to make money, it's just execution. It's mastering your setup. It's knowing your rules inside and out. And it's a decision it's your personal decision to not break your rules. That really is, and then you just do that repetitively over and over and over and over, and you just don't stop. You just don't stop. Last week was bad for me. I lost around 3% on phase 2. Still losing this week, and I'm at 4%. My risk is 0.25% per trade, and I only take 2 trades per day, and most of my trades are at London Kill Zone. What do you suggest? I would suggest you stop taking 2 trades per day. You're losing, if you're only risking 0.25% and you're down 4%, that means you have lost a ton. So, and that makes me feel like if you're losing that many trades, either your strategy needs refinement or your execution of that strategy there's something off there. So either you're not following your rules consistently on every single trade, or there's a problem with your strategy or possibly your analysis or your execution of that strategy. It's one of two things, because if you're only risking a 0.25% and you're down 4%, that's 16 losses. I don't know how many winners you've had in between there, but I would think even if you've had just a couple, you wouldn't be down 4%. So it seems like there's an issue somewhere with either your execution of your system, where you're not following your rules, or you don't truly have an edge with your strategy. You're taking too many trades. There's no reason to be taking 2 trades a day. Absolutely no reason at all. It's too many. Maybe 2 trades a week. That's what you should back off for, in my opinion. Back off to 2 trades a week, and then only take the very best premium setups that you find. Just do that, and you probably see a little bit of a turnaround there. Matthew says one of the biggest game changes for me was going from the 5 to the 15. Yep, increasing that time limit. It will decrease the amount of setups you see, but it will probably increase the edge that you have with your system on those setups. Stop trying to pass it and just follow your rules. Amen, Daz. Great advice. Don't worry about passing. Just execute your trading setup. When you see your setup, you execute it. When you don't do anything. When you're focused on passing, you're probably not going to pass. Oh, this stinking market, man. What the hell? Muhammad, my first challenge, 1 week. Second challenge, 3 week. Let's see how this one goes. Good luck, Muhammad. Aditya, 15-minute is really helpful. It reduces the number of trades and we can find our perfect setup. I agree. It's not that you can't find good setups on the 10-minute or the 5-minute. You can. But the more time frames you go down, typically your win rate also goes down, and you have to be okay with that. If you're not good at losing, you're probably not going to be okay on those slower time frames. This just is so frustrating, y'all. I got to admit, I am super frustrated with how all of this is going. I mean, not enough to like screw anything up. I mean, I'm not gonna break my rules just because I'm frustrated. But I'm just being honest with you. Like, you see this happen, and you've seen me sit here on this live stream for 2.5 weeks. You've seen me call trades. You've seen me cancel orders, and you see the setup just not working. It's frustrating. Even for me, it's frustrating. We are now in new territory for the length of time in between trades. It's a new record for me of how long in between trades. So it sucks. There's no sugarcoating it. It's not fun. It sucks. Not great. The EJ trade still looks really good, and I haven't called it out yet. The GJ trade is obviously left the station without us again. And if it reaches down into this order block, I'm going to call it, because it's now taken out sell-side liquidity here. And any sharp move back up would now be displacement back through this up close candle and would violate my entry criteria. So if it now displaced back higher, it would be creating a breaker block, a bullish breaker block. So we are reached right into the top of that already. So there you go. Freaking A, man. Canceling that order. That order is canceled. I am so tired of typing this. So tired. I'm going to leave that up there. The EJ trade could still play out because you still have all of these really juicy relative equal lows down here. So all of that is it's drawing liquidity. But if it breaks this low, same story. We don't want to, we don't really want to see it. If it breaks this low and reverses back up, then it's doing the same thing I just explained to GJ. It's already taken, it's rebalanced some of this area, but if it takes out this low and then reverses and displaces higher, it's now creating a bullish breaker. That was your opportunity for an entry, is at that hourly open to get your push up, and it did not provide that. Sucks, man. Oof. Another day, another setup, not happening. It used, oh, it did just, let's see there, Friday's low, 09348, 09347, 09343. All right, so it's just wicked into Friday's low. DXY still hasn't taken out the weekly, but it did take out the high there. Friday's high pretty good. Man, that just, it's hard. It's hard emotionally to sit there and see exactly what you want to see happen. Identify exactly where you want your entry to be. See price start to respond. And then, let's see, it got up to 9.1. So 9.2 basically, and we needed it, so 3 pips. 3 pips. No, it's more than that. 10 pips. I was about to say. No, is that right? How far is it from here to here? Yeah, 10 pips. Okay. Okay, that makes me feel a little better. 10 pips. Still sucks. EJ trade is still valid though. As long as it doesn't take out that low spiffy, we're still, it's still, I mean, I could still call that. The other strat is it's going well. We are, man, why is my hat is filthy? It doesn't look like that in person, but under the light, like you can see all like where I put my hand up here. I need to wash that. Still no pullback. Nope. Adding this to my best of Venator playlist, a playlist for when you give nice spills I want to come back to in the future. Having this in the background has been helping me stay patient during sessions. I'm glad to hear that's helping, Hooligan. I mean, that's why I'm here. I want to be helpful. I wished that I could have had someone doing this, and maybe it could have shortened the amount of time and frustration and pain and anger and depression that I had to go through to get to where I'm at. I just wish, that's really why I started this whole stream, is that I just wish someone would have done this for me. That just sucks, man. That just, so frustrating. All right, coming into the 830 indices, the initial open on the indexes. Sometimes you can get a little bit of a push here, but 930 is typically where it happens. We've ran some sell side liquidity here on NAS, and we have not taken out. That was, what was that? That was Monday's low. That was Friday's low and the weekly low. So it took out last week's low on NAS, last 2 days lows, last 3 days, Monday, Friday, and Thursday. And on S&P, we have not taken out the weekly low. And on US 30, we obviously have not taken out the weekly low either. So NAS reaching down into that weekly low, S&P, US 30 not reaching down. So we might have a little bit of SMT going on. Potential reversal area here for US 30. Dollar finding some decent resistance here in the 50% of that daily fair value gap, much like it did prior. Pretty strong run up into there. We've taken out buy side. If it rolls over here, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if it left last week's high in place. Oh, I think I hear my pups stirring and coming down. How did you learn trading? So many strategies targeting the same, actually, but what strategy do you choose from as a beginner? That's a great question. How did I learn trading? Started on baby pips. Baby pips just is where I learned. YouTube, and then Twitter and Instagram, and then you start getting exposed to people who are successful and profitable. And then you go down their rabbit holes and their sales funnels. And you, sorry, I just got it. It's driving me nuts. Here they come. It's the fur babies. Hey, buddy. There's Kirby. There's my love. You looking good, baby. So yeah, baby pips, getting back to that. I started learning there, basic education, what's a pip? What's a lot size? What's a pair, a Forex pair? What's the Forex market? What's a broker? All that kind of stuff. And then you kind of go down the rabbit hole of people getting unbelievable. It's so repetitive. Like, why do they not realize we do this every day? It's the same dog every day. It's the same person every day. They have not come in here to try to kill us. Like, why? I don't understand them sometimes. So, yeah, then you just start going, okay, well, I need to learn patterns. And so you learn candlestick patterns, I think were the first thing I learned. You learn about indicators, and you learn, oh, well, this guy uses divergence between the RSI and the MACD. And oh, this guy, then you try that and it fails, and so you give up pretty quickly, and you're like, oh, this is garbage. But look at all this money this guy's making, so he's got to know something. He's got to know something. And so then you buy this course, and then you buy that course, and then you read this book, or I mean, I went through every strategy. The only one I never really did, there's a couple I never really did. I didn't really get into what's it called? Elliott wave theory. I never did Elliott wave theory. But I did pretty much everything besides that. I've used indicators, I've used price action, I've used support and resistance, I've used Wyckoff, I've used moving averages, I've used signal services, I've used ICT, smart money concepts. I've literally gone through almost every single variation of a strategy that you can use. More, and I'm leaving some off that I would probably be like, if you told me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I tried that too. And in the end, it's just not the strategy. It was me. No, that's not completely honest. There are some bad strategies out there. There really are. There's some strategies that just there's too much discretion, I think, especially for new traders. I think trying to teach a new trader how to do discretionary trading is I think most new traders need a very mechanical system to work with. They need a very clear, defined set of rules that they need to work with. And so there are some that are better than others. But learning risk management in line with your strategy is really what it comes down to. Have a good, as long as you're winning more than you're losing, that's really kind of the holy grail of it all. Signal services, mixed emotions about signal services. I don't typically like them. So I haven't found one that is. Here's how signal services work. They suck you in with how many pips they made. Pips mean absolutely nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. It is all about, obviously, your lot size, your stop loss, how much you're risking. That's what matters when you're trading. And so what most of these trading signal services do is they will call out a trade and they'll give you, let's say, 3 TPs. So let's say they'll say, hey, you're going to get on EU and you're going to, TP1 is here, TP2 is here, TP3 is here, TP4 is here. And then they might tell you a stop loss. Sometimes they don't. So let's say a trade, or they'll tell you to move your stop loss even if it's in drawdown. But what they'll do is they'll tell you, they don't tell you to take profit at TP1, but as soon as it hits TP1, they'll post a winning picture. But a lot of times that trade will immediately reverse and go hit stop loss, but they'll still count it as a win. And TP1 is often not even a 1-to-1 of their stop loss, if they even give you a stop loss. But they'll say it was a winning trade. If you took this signal, you could have made 8 pips on that or 10 pips, but the stop loss was 30 pips. And so they can just manipulate for their own sales purposes how many winners that they actually had. And then they might hit one winner that runs a 1-to-1, and they put on there, we hit 40 pips on this trade. Well, again, if your stop loss was only 30 or your stop loss was 40, it might have been a 1-to-1 risk. So you have to be really, really, really careful about your signal service if you're going to go down that route. I know why it's so attractive. I get it. But most of them are so highly manipulated in how they portray their winning percentages, because they don't ever put it in RR. They don't ever tell you how many Rs that they've won. They only tell you how many pips they've won. And then they'll convince you, oh, if you had put a 10 lot on that, you would have won 8 pips on this trade. Well, that's assuming you took a full position off at an 8 pip run with a 30 pip stop. Most traders are never going to do that. So there's a lot of shady crap that goes on with signal services. And so I haven't found one. I don't know of one that will tell you, like, let's say like what I'm doing right here, a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio all the time, never anything less. It's going to be a win. It's going to be a loss. You're going to get 1-to-2 or it's not anything. I don't know of a signal service that operates like that. Every single one of them is the only way they calculate success is how many pips a trade went into profit. And if a trade goes into profit by even 1 or 2 pips, they will immediately say that was a winning trade. And then they'll give you all the stats for the week, and they'll tell you 2 pip winner, 8 pip winner, 40 pip winner. Well, they're not telling you to close it out. They're not telling you where to take a full position off. So just, again, a lot of very, very shady stuff there. The other thing is, just learn how to do it. You don't need them. You don't need it. You can learn how to do this on your own. So that's kind of my short spiel on signal services there. Man, EJ. Easy SMC, just like me, I did every strategy. In the end, I learned the consistency between them. They share more similar concepts like old high and old low pullbacks. Basically, yeah, they all have a lot of similarities. Look at EJ. Matthew Hope. Something I've never understood what people do is use fixed lots, especially for prop firms. I feel it's important to know how much percentage risk you have exposed per trade. The fixed lots are typically, though, people that have a fixed stop loss size. They're not necessarily looking at structure. They just go, this is my stop loss every single trade. I am not a fan of the fixed stop loss or the fixed lot size at all. Not a fan. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying that some people haven't found success with it. I'm just saying for me, I don't like it. This 4-hour candle here is going to close in about 14 minutes. And if it does close below here, I still kind of like this setup. If it does not close below that bullish candle, I'll probably let EJ pass by. It would leave a nice little fair value gap back in here on the hourly as well. So we'll see. I still got about 10 more minutes here. I'm definitely not just going to enter this trade here, though, just yet. I want to see this 4-hour candle close. If it cannot displace below that low, it does not. It's not a great signal for me that it could be this fair value gap is getting respected. This order block would be getting respected. So that GU 1 hour, though, looks pretty juicy, especially if it left behind Friday's low right here. It was 26,832, 26,836. So that's a beautiful relative equal low right there. GU might give you a decent pullback into this hourly breaker right there. But it's already 9 o'clock, so for it to try to do that today, it's asking a lot. That means in the next hour, the 10 o'clock hour, it's got to come all the way back up. You would be looking to get in a trade like around the 10 or 11 o'clock hour, and that's just too late in the session to be looking at that as a setup. So your best bet would be to see the rest of the day just kind of consolidate, and then maybe the London session pull back up into this area to give you a low back into these lows here. So that's kind of more of what you're anticipating now on GU and even EU, potentially getting back up into this breaker, consolidate here, run up into London, into this breaker, and then come back down into these relative equal lows now. But GJ and EJ, man, it's just, golly. Again, let me remind you why I canceled this trade. Number one, it filled in this imbalance completely. We've taken out sell side liquidity. And now, if it wants to displace higher and to get us an entry, it would need to displace through this order block. And if it does that, it could create a bullish breaker that could then price could tag us in, come back down, and then just stall out, and then we'd be in a break-even trade. So I want to, not that I want to avoid break-even trades, I think they're fine, but you just have to understand what's happening with the rest of market structure here. And if it displaces through here to tag it in, it's created a new breaker because we've taken out sell side. We grab sell side and then displace quickly away. And now we have a setup back to the top side. And now it's it's such conflicting information that I would want to step aside. EJ didn't take out that low. But again, if this 4-hour candle closes doesn't close below this low, it's failed to displace. All it did was take out a swing low and grab sell side liquidity here. So if this EJ trades back up inside here and doesn't close below, it's failed to displace. And not that it couldn't make another new low, but the likelihood of that happening goes way down. So this is just some higher time frame confluence. I haven't talked a lot about higher time frame confluence when you're looking at entries or where you want, but when you're looking at these big 4-hour candles or the daily or the weekly, as you come to those closures, if they're not displacing, it's a signal on the higher time frame that it's done what it needs to do for liquidity, and you didn't get the move on the lower time frame. The lower time frame entry would have been right here. You would have wanted to see this push back up on this swing level right here and tag you in. This is a failed swing low. So it's come back up into that breaker right now. It's just touching the bottom of it. It could work out. It could just tap in and drop as that next 4-hour candle opens. But because just from experience now and from knowing how I like to be in line with the higher time frames, when you see those higher time frames telling you a different story than what's happening on the lower time frames, you should listen to the higher time frame story. And this is telling me we're not going to displace below this low. And this could just be a liquidity grab underneath to rebalance this large imbalance here, and respect this order block, which it's currently doing. Alternatively, you could look and say, hey, look, if this does displace higher, your attention turns to here. These are your last up close candles before you ran sell side. So if you get displacement now through this high, with this 4-hour candle closing, you would anticipate here in the next 6 minutes, if it closes back up inside of here, the new 4-hour candle opening, putting in a lower wick into this breaker, and then you could go higher and anticipate a closure through here. Well, this isn't really a breaker because it didn't grab liquidity, but this one would be, you'd be watching to see if it displaces through here, then you might be able to find something. On GJ, let me look at this. Its 4-hour candle is closing down below here, but again, it's already taken out a swing low twice. But you would want to see if it displaces through these candles, this could become your buy side breaker on GJ. GU though is, if it could leave these relative lows in place here, that would be nice. Maybe consolidate. I don't think it's going to have enough time in the rest of the session to make up that much pullback and then still give you a big drop today. Your best bet is to see if we can consolidate, pull up into here in the Asian or overnight session in London, and then it would come for these lows. EU similar with the relative equal lows down here. Man, it wicked right up almost to that entry. That entry would have been 156.732. It got up to 156.727. So not quite a tag in, but Beautiful little breaker setup right there. Yeah, Cisco, you can go back. A lot of those places, they'll give you their historical data of how many pips, quote unquote, they captured, but they don't always tell you the entries and stop loss prices. That's really what matters more than anything. Daz, can you look at the EU trade from London? Would you have taken it, or as with me, would you be worried about the displacement not quite being enough? Yeah, I didn't see a lot of displacement here, and definitely not a good fair value gap. If you take, you know, it depends on where you were looking. So where did the run on liquidity begin? It started here, here, here. Which one of these do you look at? If you used all of this, well, then your breaker is all of these candles on the 15 minute. And so that's quite a lot. If you used these, you didn't really get this displacement right here. It closed back up inside the breaker. And so that one wouldn't have counted. These two, once they finally started to displace, it's been like, okay, well, we finally have displacement. So technically, you probably could have used these three. I don't know if I would have even identified these threes. On hindsight, you can see these three candles were the breaker. But you could have said these, and then you just didn't even get back up. But I don't know that I would have. I don't know that I would have taken it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I would have. It just depends on where you would have identified which down close candles are you using for your breaker after this run up to identify this run of liquidity. Was it these two? Was it this one? Was it these three? Was it all of these? If it was all of these, then you would have been looking for an entry up here, and you never would have got it. If it was these three, then you could have potentially gotten an entry right there on that. Potentially. All right, coming into the 9 o'clock hour here. John, I wonder if your analysis for Forex signal will be the same for future signal. I'm not sure, John. I don't know how much different the charts look on futures than they do on the FX side. So I don't know, man. I cannot answer that confidently. Daz's second one, no, it wasn't good enough for me. Oh, I didn't look at your picks on Twitter. I saw them come through, but I haven't looked at them yet. Let me look real quick. The first pick is what I just identified, those three candles, and that would have been the setup. The second one, if you had used those three candles, Daz, that would have been what I just described to you, and I didn't look at those before. I'm sorry, but that's kind of how I would have looked at that. All right, here we come into the 4 hour candle is closing down here below, barely. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's still got a few seconds. Not the greatest close for me. I'm going to stand by here and I'm not going to take this EJ trade. What do you think about EU on a daily time frame? We talked about that early on in the stream here already. It's coming down into the daily fair value gap. We're consolidating now just above this. So we had this big impulse move up. We completely rebalanced this weekly volume imbalance here. We wicked above it and we've come back down. And now we're in a deep discount of this dealing range. This is the dealing range we're working with. So until this low gets broken, we're still in a bullish uptrend. Currently, it's pulled back. It's rebalanced almost the entirety of this move. And now we're consolidating above here. This daily fair value gap has been respected and it lines up also. It's tapped into right here into this daily bullish order block. So currently, this order block and these swing levels are where you would be considering a change of structure. But currently we're just moving sideways for the last, 8 or 9 days now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Today's the 8th day. So we're just moving sideways. Looking very similar to something like this, where it had an impulse move up. We retraced, we moved sideways, impulse move up. We've retraced, we're moving sideways. So overall, you're still in a bullish uptrend. And until you see this low broken, you would still be bullish. That doesn't mean that you're not going to see a down day or a couple of down days here. I mean, you've seen several just to rebalance all of this. You've seen several, but we're in a deep discount now. So if you're going to see price go bullish, it would probably be somewhere around here. And this daily fair value gap is a good spot for that to happen. And if not that one, this weekly fair value gap right here. Again, you can see on the weekly time frame a much better picture. It just cleans up the bias. We're higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We'd be anticipating a higher low put in here. And it could be a retest of some of this area here, this fair value gap again. But we're at that's kind of how I view the daily. Is this fair value gap is our current support structure, and we're tapping into it right now. I could stay on for probably about another 20 minutes. There's not much. I don't think we're going to get any more setups, but we can watch and see. I need to look at what's going on today. Oh, it's a pretty light day today. Yeah, we can stay on for 30 more minutes. I'll tell you my idea for the giveaway this week. My idea for the giveaway this week is, because I was trying to think of a way that I could do it and only be the people on the stream. And the only way that I could come up with doing that, and I think this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to tell everyone we're giving away a 10K account on the live stream. So I'm still going to tell everyone you have to be on the live stream to win. I'm going to tell them the time, but the way that you have to be here on the live stream to find out how to win. And so what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to just tweet out something random during the live stream. Just a random I love trading or something like that. I'll tweet something, and then I'm going to take that link and I'll put it here in the chat, and then everybody has to go and comment on that or retweet that tweet, and only the people on the live stream will know that tweet is the one we're using. And then it will be then very, like, I'll say, hey, you have 2 minutes, go retweet that. And so whoever retweets that in 2 minutes is eligible to win. And it should just be the people here on the live stream. And then we can pretty much guarantee that the first name we pick will win, and we won't have to wait around. And that way it guarantees just the people here on the live stream are the ones being considered. So yeah, I'm not going to take GJ here again because it took out sell side liquidity. So I'm not going to get back in. My rules are that once sell side liquidity is taken, that the entry becomes invalid. It could still work out, and in back testing that happens sometimes, but the majority of the time I save myself from a loss when I follow that rule. So I always follow that rule. It could still come up, tag it in, and drop and be a winning trade. I'm just not going to avoid it because I know what my data says. And my data says once sell side liquidity has been taken, or once opposing liquidity has been taken from your entry, then your entry, you need to stand aside and avoid that. Yeah, easy SMC. I would agree with you. It is in a very deep pullback, and I think long term, I'm still very bullish on EU and GU. But right now, it's in a deep pullback, and so we're gonna wait to see some type of structure shift to let us know the uptrend is going to continue. That's probably that's a long-term bias though. Where was the sell side liquidity that was taken on GJ? Was right here. Once it put in a swing low, it created sell side liquidity right here. So this is a swing low. So if you just back this up, it puts in a swing low right here. So this is a swing high. So there's liquidity above here. So this is a swing low. The very next candle, sorry, not that candle. That candle takes out the sell side liquidity. It also rebalances this drawn liquidity, this big imbalance right here. It rebalances that completely. It comes all the way down and completely rebalances that, which is also another draw on liquidity. And so now for it to trigger us in, it's got to violate these PD arrays here to trigger us in, and it could displace higher up. So we stand aside and we let it go. Do you know Social Trader Tools? Yes, that's what I use. Red Ezekiel. I use Social Trader Tools. It's legit. It works. And again, over playful, I'm not saying that that it wouldn't respect this after it comes back up. In my back testing, sometimes that happens. It does respect it, triggered it in, and falls. But more often than not, once sell side liquidity has been taken, I'm going to step aside. And more often than not, I save myself from taking a loss. So EJ did not take out its sell side liquidity, but it just did not give me a strong enough close here to show displacement. So I'm also standing aside on EJ. It also might get triggered in and also might come back down, but I'm going to let it do its thing. And I'm really hopeful that this setup on GU plays out overnight. This would be a great strategy for me on a higher time frame play. This 4-hour breaker right here grabs liquidity, comes back through. It's an order block. It's a SIBI. I'm hoping that it leaves these really clean lows in place the rest of the day. It just starts hopefully consolidating around a little bit. And then we might be able to have a setup overnight. Traders Connect. I'm not familiar with them, but it sounds like a pretty good value at $10 per account. It may be cheaper. We'll have to see. I might look into that. The giveaway I meant, by the way. Yeah, I got you, Cisco. Sounds like a good idea. I know. I knew that's what you was talking about. So we'll do the giveaway at probably, I won't just like randomly do it. I'll tell you a time, probably like 8 or 8:30 or whatever, like when we normally do them. And then I'll just tweet out something, and then I'll post that link here for everyone to go retweet. And then we'll scrape the winner from that data. Venator Trading is the Twitter. There you go. That's the Twitter handle. Is it called X or is it called Twitter now? Is it still called Twitter? It's like Facebook said that they're now Meta, but everybody still calls it Facebook. So is it actually now officially, truly called X? Or is X just the logo and it's still called Twitter? I'm a little confused. You ever hear from some of those original winners? Not yet. And I keep saying I need to go back. Ghost was an original winner. He was in here today. And I can't remember who the other ones were. I need to go back on my DMs and find those guys and see how they're doing. I think there's a couple that are in profit. I don't think anybody has passed. I know Shafa for sure has failed her challenge that she won, but I'm not sure of anyone else. Trading Night says, honestly, since I follow you, I never hesitated anymore on my setup. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. It's strange on my phone, it is X, but on my Mac, it's still Twitter. Yeah, on my Mac, like on this one, when I look at it, well, it just says X. It doesn't say Twitter, but I don't know. But in the website is still called twitter.com. So like if you go on your Mac, you still go to twitter.com, but the X is the logo. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know what it's called. I'd like to know what it's called. I mean, it's kind of fascinating to me. Like, I feel like even if he said it was officially called X, no one's going to call it X. It's been Twitter for what, 15 years? Just like Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg can say it's Meta, but it doesn't matter. Everyone's going to call it Facebook. It is what people say it is. So even if Elon calls it X, it's still Twitter. I don't know how it could be anything else. Bespoke is giving away 3 25,000 challenge accounts today. All you need to do is retweet, like, and comment on their post about their new dashboard. Turn your notifications on, and you could win. So they will draw the winner tomorrow. It's a nice looking dashboard. But yeah, you could win potentially a 25K challenge. You have to retweet, like, and comment. So it looks like there's about 550 retweets so far. But there's another 10K challenge, a 25K challenge actually. Oh, not this EJ trade. I'm not going to take it for all of the reasons that we've already just said on the stream. But the entry we were looking for would have been about an hour and a half ago, and we didn't get it. GU has a nice looking setup here on the 1 hour, but I'm hoping that it doesn't play out until the London session tonight. EU similar. Similar setup here on EU. EU's a little bit different just because the breaker would actually be this whole amount right there. You could just use this on the 30-minute. I think, no, why did we pick this? Oh, it was the 15-minute. Yeah, there was that little up close candle right there was the last. So these were the last down moves to run liquidity. So we'll see how the rest of the day plays out. NAS still not doing a whole lot after grabbing liquidity there. S&P, same. US 30, yeah, just a whole lot of sideways from its consolidation since we've run down overnight. I'll stay on for about 10 more minutes. We'll watch the 9:30 open. Why not? Theoretically, Matthew, I was a winner. Yeah, but Matthew, did you pass the challenge from the 10K yet? I don't think you have. I think that was the question. Well, I guess have I heard from them? No, I haven't heard from them. So I guess that was the question. The question was, have I heard from them? Some still keep me in the loop. Interviewing Shafa on why the loss. Yeah, maybe that might not be a bad idea. Sometimes you learn more from hearing how other people have dealt with that kind of stuff. Cisco rebrands like that probably take a whole generation to pass before the new name becomes commonly used when it's New Coke. New Coke, yeah. Very similar story. Just in some profit. That's good. I want to see somebody win a challenge and get funded and get a payout. That's what I want. God, that would be so badass. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of giveaways. I have a love-hate relationship with them. I know that they can be helpful for people that are struggling to raise funds to buy a challenge, but I feel like they've done more damage to the trading community overall than they have done good. So I'm not. I still, even when I'm doing the giveaways, I wish there was a way that I could force people to stay in the stream and trade with us on the stream. I just can't. I mean, there's no real way to do that. So that's why I'm trying to make sure that it's the people here on the stream that are getting them, because you guys are already here. And so I feel like you would be more likely to stick around and really try to take advantage of those free giveaways. he got in trouble for removing the sign. I thought they wanted him to remove the sign. I thought he got in trouble because the sign was up there and the city made him take it down because it was so damn bright. Yeah, technically you're not supposed to be copying other traders, but just because you're here on the live stream doesn't mean you're taking the trades I'm taking. You could be following a different pair. You could be trading a different setup, a different strategy. I'm not here trying to convince you to take the trades that I call. I'm also not here trying to convince you to use this strategy. I'm really here to demonstrate how you can start with one small challenge and stack accounts by being super disciplined and executing one strategy over and over again. That's really what this stream is all about. So, and they haven't told me to stop calling trades. The official sponsor knows what I do here. We did a whole interview on it wherein they asked me, do you call your trades live on the stream? And I said, yes. And they were like, well, we love what you're doing. Keep it up. So I'm not saying that they wouldn't violate you if they thought that you were just doing exactly everything I'm doing. But they also haven't, they decided to sponsor the stream and they haven't said, hey, Brad, would you please stop putting your exact entries and stop losses and take profits? There's plenty of communities out there that I promise you there are traders that are copying their mentors' trades in their private communities. So this one just happens to be public and free. So I know that if, maybe if there were 50 of us all taking the exact same trade every single day and we were all max funded with $2 million accounts, they would maybe take issue with that. So we'll see. But they haven't asked me to not do what I'm doing as the sponsor. If they did, I would probably stop calling entries. I would just highlight setups, and I could do that on multiple pairs, and you would never know which one I'm taking or not taking. So that's just, that's one way we can get around it. If it becomes an issue. Right now it's not an issue, so I'm not worried about it. I wouldn't say I'm authorized, but I'm not speaking on behalf of Bespoke. No, I am not an authorized agent of Bespoke Funding Program. I'm just saying that they are aware of how I'm doing this live stream. They are aware of the challenge I'm doing. They are aware that I am calling trades. They are aware that I post them on Twitter. And they decided to sponsor the stream, and they did not ask me to not do that. And a lot of it is that there's just not very many of you that are trading with Bespoke. So a lot of you aren't even trading with Bespoke right now, so it's not an issue. And I'm guessing if it became an issue, they would just say, hey, we would appreciate it if you would stop doing that. And I probably would. I don't want to hurt you guys. I don't want to hurt them. But I could still easily identify all of my setups on multiple pairs and never tell you what trades I'm taking. So, and it's not like this is a secret trading system. A lot of people use breaker block trading system. And I'm just teaching you how to identify that setup. So, hey, James, afternoon. I am not in the EJ trade. No. We did call out the GJ trade, but because it took out sell side liquidity, we canceled it. And EJ closed back up without displacing on the 4-hour candle. And so I decided to step aside. It could still work out and be a good trade here, but I am not in that trade. Yeah, Daz, I've heard FTMO do something similar. If they see multiple traders taking similar positions or at least similar entries and similar stop losses, it's at some point if you have thousands of traders, you're going to have many of them that probably are using very similar trading concepts. And so it's hard to, I don't know how you prove that you're copy trading, that people are copy trading other traders' positions, because there's only so many setups and there's so many, I mean, people see the same thing over and over and over and over. And like if a big chunk of your funded traders trade support and resistance, and the majority of them trade, let's say, euro dollar. Well, when euro dollar gets to a support area, guess what the majority of those traders are going to do? They're going to take a buy. How can you say that they're all copying each other? So at some point, there's got to be a better way for them to determine who's like truly copying those trades. So, it's kind of a little sketch, because in some ways the prop firms can just do whatever the hell they want, and if they want to violate you and just close your account, they can, because that's what the contract says. And they are the ones that can interpret the contract. So it's unfortunate. There's not a lot of regulation. There's not a lot of recourse that traders can take against them. It's just truly their free will to say, you copied trades, and you go, no, I didn't. Prove it. And they go, we don't have to. No more account. That sucks, Daz. I'm sorry that happened to you. Red Ezekiel, I'm trading with Bespoke. There's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 people on here that are using Bespoke right now. I don't think of the 22 viewers that remain in here, there's probably only 3 or 4 of you that are using Bespoke. That's just my guess. I could be wrong, but not give the precise open, stop, and take profit, leave off a digit or something. Call outs will be good evidence in the future for haters. Yeah, I mean, there's ways other than even just identifying setups or telling you which ones I feel very strongly about. I don't even know what if they might consider that copy trading. I don't know. Even just is just putting a block up here on the screen, is that copy trading? Even though I'm not in this trade, could they say, "Oh, well, you didn't find that trade and take it. Venator found it, and then you just decided to take it, even though I'm not in this trade right now." That could be, maybe they could find some type of violation there. I don't know. I'm not sure how it all works out. It wouldn't take long for me to just get on a call with Max and just be like, hey, bro, getting some questions about this on the stream. Could you give me some clarity, and let him just speak into it? He would be more than willing to do that, I'm sure. Sorry, Daz. That's just I've heard some other stories about FTMO randomly closing accounts on people and not really giving a lot of clear definition of why. Did I see Casper's mechanical interpretation of Silver Bullet? I did see it, and it's very funny that he put that up. It is extremely similar to the strategy that I'm starting to back test right now. I started last weekend. I posted the FX replay screenshots over the weekend of my strategy. It is very similar to his. It's not identical. It's not based around the Silver Bullet time and using just the NAS. Mine is based off Forex pairs, and it is time based somewhat, but it also has different entry criteria. But I was shocked to see how similar it actually was to the strategy that I'm trying to develop right now. The 5-minute time frame, everything. Like it is fair value gap based. So anyway, I did see that video. Bialamansky trading Bespoke. Cool. Up 1%. Way to go. Mr. Alpha's with Bespoke. Bialamansky's with Bespoke. Red Ezekiel's with Bespoke. There's 3. I think Hooligans with Bespoke. There's 4. I don't know how many more are with Bespoke. I don't think it's a huge chunk of the viewers are trading with Bespoke right now. Which is fine. You don't have to use Bespoke. I think they're great, and I think you should use them. If you're looking to take another challenge, I highly recommend them, obviously. But Galaxy, that's why my plan is to have multiple accounts, trade one account at a time, withdraw when I make 2 to 3%, and have the account reset. It's a very good strategy, Galaxy. Alpha, they can analyze your trading, and it's all about timing. If you take a trade with the same stop loss and TP within seconds, just like other traders, that's clearly copying. I don't know that that's true. I mean, it could be, but again, I think probably the time is more important than the entry. If they are all coming in at the exact same time, then yes, you could potentially have a stronger case for copying. But still, like, there's only so many trading systems out there. And if the majority of your traders trade smart money concepts, or they trade support and resistance, or they trade whatever, they're all going to have very, very similar entries on certain pairs. So it's kind of hard to think about how exactly they can prove. They might have suspicions, but I don't know how they legitimately prove trade copying. EJ is moving nicely into profit here off of that breaker and fair value gap. GJ did not get back up to our original entry anyway, so it's falling away now. Be interesting to see how these fair value gaps here respond on GJ if they want to act as support and turn this higher. EJ, this order block right here would be the one that I would be interested to see if it holds here on the 15-minute time frame, this little area in here. If you're in the EJ trade, I would be looking to move to break even down around these lows. If it can get that far, I would move to break even there. But if I'm in that trade, I'm letting it ride till at least those lows right there. But if it can get that far, I would move to break even there. The 9:30 open has come and gone. We're about 5 minutes into it. Here on the indexes, not getting a ton of reaction off of that 9:30 open. We'll probably need to give it another 5 or 10 minutes here to see if it really wants to, which way those markets potentially want to move there. Oh, all right. Good stream today, guys. Thank you so much for being here again. I so appreciate the way you guys come in here every day and participate in the chat and keep the stream going. I do hope it's helpful for you. I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing you and knowing that you'll be here every day with me. So thank you guys for being here. I'm going to go ahead and call the stream here today now. We'll be back again tomorrow on Wednesday morning. back at 7 a.m. New York time. So until then, you guys have a great day. Stay safe. Happy hunting. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Adios, y'all.